Who's next?
Do we want to go right into another top 10 or?
No,
I can go next.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
we'll go
Okay.
Dan.
Like I said, I was warning you guys earlier. I didn't do my research, so it's gonna be a little freeform because Mass Effect Legacy Edition came out, and that's taken all my time.
I
Okay.
understand.
I get that.
I understand.
Having to do with AAA gaming studios. I don't know if you guys follow this kind of stuff or whatever, or care. Kind of like now and like 10, 15 years ago, they seem to have changed a little bit and made a shift, at least to me. Do you feel like they are going downhill with their effort into their art, I guess, is something you'd say? Or do you disagree completely? I just like your thoughts on it, I guess.
I feel like they kind of are. I remember when I was younger, a lot of the games that I saw were a lot more... It's weird to say it detailed, but that's kind of not the right word.
Unique.
Yeah, unique. A lot of it now is kind of all the same color schemes, and it just all kind of looks the same from
Well,
game
I
to
feel
game.
like every game now that comes out, it's almost without fail, it's open world RPG. It seems like 90% of them that come out,
I feel like
at least it's either a first person shooter or
Sure,
open
sure.
world RPG. It's there's almost nothing else that's like refreshing.
there's definitely a cookie cutter stereotype,
Yeah.
Yep.
or multiple of those at least,
Yeah.
that are coming out because that's what sells well.
Yep.
It's all about money. Like, it's obviously it's always been about money, but
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like back in the day when all these, legendary games were coming out and stuff, people actually kind of cared about what they were making.
Yep.
I feel like that doesn't seem to happen anymore. Not that people don't care about what they're making, but those who are above them don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
I mean-
just want the return on the investment.
Well, yeah, you look at like EA and
Yeah.
Ubisoft and
Yeah.
Microsoft, and it seems like
Activision Blizzard is going way downhill.
Oh, dude,
Bethesda
Activision,
is not doing good.
Yeah.
BioWare is gone.
Which is
Yeah.
sad.
It's, like, some of my favorite games are made by these companies, and that I'm scared of what they're going to come out with next.
Yeah, well, I'm actually legitimately worried, especially now that Microsoft bought Bethesda. Starfield is going to be Windows exclusive, which, I mean, everyone saw that coming. It's going to be, or Microsoft exclusive, I guess I should
Microsoft,
say.
yeah, it'll be on Xbox.
So it's only going to be Xbox and PC. So that means PlayStation now is no longer getting that huge game, which, I mean, whatever. The game's still going to come out.
at least
like-
right away.
Yeah, like one of my favorite games ever, Sea of Thieves, is a Microsoft exclusive title. Like, so I mean that doesn't bother me, but I also feel like now that Microsoft has their greedy little paws in there, and since a Game
Sure.
Pass is a thing, they're looking for more ways to make money with microtransactions.
That's all it
And
is.
so I'm almost worried now. If Starfield has those microtransactions,
Sure.
then they go into Elder Scrolls 6, which is my favorite franchise of all time. It's Elder Scrolls.
Oh, we know.
So my whole worry
Oh, I know.
is like, oh hey, you want the Daedric longsword? Well, sorry, bud, you're gonna have to cough off $1.99.
Pay to win.
Yes.
Yes.
And even if it's only single player, and they're like, oh well, it's no different than DLC. It's almost like we're going back to the horse armor days from Oblivion. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, because DLC was a brand new thing and no one knew what it was. So
To an extent, yeah.
to an extent, yeah. So they threw out horse armor. Ooh, like Lottie frickin' da, $2.50. You can put armor on your horse. I did it because
Just cosmetic stuff, yes.
why
Understand.
not? But then we got to the era of, I'd say, Modern Warfare 2, and like 2010, 11, 12, like they kind of did it perfect with DLC, with the expansions and different maps and stuff. Like I liked that model.
The old Call of Duty franchise Infinity War titles did it right.
Yeah, they did it really well.
It wasn't, nowadays just the battle pass. You have to buy it. You have to get anything cool, you have to buy it. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
Because they cater to what their audience is right now, which is little Timmy. No, sorry, Tim,
Yeah,
not you.
it's true.
Little Timmy that buys the battle pass
Yep.
and then gets his mom's credit card and buys $100 worth of COD points, and that's it. That's where they make their
Yeah.
money.
Yep.
Instead of putting that unlockable stuff that takes effort, that's fun to get
Yep.
Yeah.
into the game. The old Infinity War franchise. Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3. They did that. That was fun. Like,
Yeah.
you had to work hard for that stuff.
Yep.
All you have in these games now is the same camo progression.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
For everything.
Everything else is just you buy it. Like, even with the new game, right? We play a lot. it's just Black Ops 2 maps redone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
which
nothing
is
new.
Lazy.
And-
It's lazy.
It's so lazy.
And as me, I don't play video games much.
Sure,
Like
sure.
maybe once a week, and that's even a stretch sometimes. The whole pay to win thing, it gets real annoying because I'm not going to put any money into a game I'm going to pick up once every week, every
Well, yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
when you say little Timmy instead of big Timmy here,
Sure, sure.
just pays and buys the best gun ever, and I'm sitting here with my beginner. That's just not fair and not fun.
Yeah.
Rather than making the DLCs, extra maps or whatever, like that was kind of fun because then you paid and you're like, oh, I get to play on this map, no one else can. It doesn't actually give you an advantage though.
Okay, so here's an interesting question though that we could bring up with this.
Sure.
Instead of the pay to win style, would you rather? Because I mean, you're still paying $60 for the game up front, and
Yeah.
then it's pay to win after that. Would you rather have the prices of the game increase to like $70-$80, and then they don't have any pay to win? Would you be willing to Because I mean, they have to. It's getting more and more expensive to
in
make
my-
stuff.
in my world,
like
make-
in their defense,
yeah.
it's more and more expensive to make everything. And yes, they're being
To a certain
greedy.
extent.
To an extent, but yes, they're being greedy with the pay to win. But do you think if they came out with a promise where like, hey, the game instead of being $60 is $70, but there will never be pay to win, do you think that'd be a better compromise?
I'd pay an extra $10 for that.
Yeah.
Depending
Yeah.
on the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like for Call of Duty,
Yeah.
for instance.
Sure.
Like,
Yes. I'd do that as long as. Well, they would have to add more things, though. They would have to
Yeah.
put in that extra effort.
Well, 'cause I think
and they
with
have
Call
the
of Duty
budget
right now-
for it. The budgets and AAA studios have never been as big as they are now.
Yeah.
And the profit margin that they get, that investors get, has never been any lower than it is, or higher than it is now.
Yeah.
Like, it's
See,
crazy.
Like with the new Call of Duty game, so Cold War, Cold War, for example,
yeah.
the zombie stuff is all free, right? Like you don't have to pay for any new zombie.
It's part of
map.
the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, I'm
yeah,
saying
it's
like
included.
the expansions though, like
Sure.
they put out new maps, which before you'd have to pay for.
Yeah.
So do you think that model's better, where you pay for camos, but then you get maps for free?
I think it's all
Like, how
together. Like,
Finding the balance of that would be tough.
The thing
I'm not
that-
saying you have to not pay for DLC.
Yeah.
Like new maps and everything.
Yeah.
Sure, I pay for new maps,
Mm-hmm.
but not every single little thing needs to be. Oh, well, you can't get anything new unless you
Yeah.
get a battle pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah, which is frustrating. I know from what I've seen, just looking at the battle, specifically the battle pass for Cold War. You get the blueprints for a gun.
Yeah.
And when you get within Call of Duty, when you get that blueprint, if you haven't used that gun at all, it automatically unlocks those attachments, those things that you have to work for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of them are the later attachments through a gun's progression.
yeah.
And so that's where that kind of unfair advantage comes in.
Sure.
So I
Yeah.
guess going back to your original thing, then, do you think we're gonna see?
I think it's
any-
gonna get a whole lot worse.
You think it's only gonna get worse?
Yeah.
Okay,
Because they're making money. Why would they stop making money?
that's true.
Yeah.
Also, this is kind of part of it. It's a bit on the other side. What do you think of games as a service? So releasing unfinished games and then just
Kind of like how Destiny 2 did it, where they keep pumping out expansions every year, or
No,
are you
like-
talking?
like, well, how about Sea of Thieves?
Okay,
When that was released, that was not finished by any means.
I see. I didn't pick it up until a couple years ago. Which
Sure.
it was a few years,
Like,
like
it
a
was
year and a half,
released-
2 years into its life cycle.
I mean, it could have been beta with lots of streamers first too, but like
Yeah.
as far as I know, when it was released, it was a little shaky.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of games like that.
No Man's Sky.
No
there
Man's
you
Sky.
go.
No Man's
Yeah,
Sky was
No Man's
a,
Sky.
That was the biggest controversy that I can think of with that.
We don't even want
model,
to
I guess.
start, but Anthem.
Oh, Anthem was a
We don't
bad
even
one
want to start on that
too.
one, but
Nope.
no, lots
Yeah,
of
that
games
was
are like
bad,
that.
too.
They just are such lower quality for some reason, and
Yeah.
they have all. I mean, even if you want to say Cyberpunk, it came out there, that whole debacle that was with that.
Yeah.
And CD Projekt Red, I still have faith in CD Projekt Red. That's one of the big studios that I actually,
Yeah.
have some faith in.
Yeah.
I think they made big mistakes and they know what they made, but they're gonna work on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel they were pushed to things. I think investors pushed them to things. They didn't. Obviously, the glaring non-focus on past-gen consoles
Yeah.
was crazy.
See, I feel
but-
like that's almost an argument you can make for No Man's Sky then too, is they were getting pushed by Sony to get this game out after all the hype.
No Man's Sky blatantly lied to the gamers, though.
Well, see,
They said
now,
this stuff would be in it, and it was not in it at
do
all.
you, do you think it was not in it because they were rushed so hard by Sony to get it out before they could put it in?
No, I don't think at all.
Or you don't think they ever had it the plan to?
There's interviews with the creator, and he said, "Yeah, this stuff is in it." like on
Yeah,
talk
like
shows and
it's
stuff.
it's in the plans, right? Is it? That
No,
what
he
you-
said this
he
is in the
stated
game.
it's
He
in-
came
Oh, he
out
said it
was in
and
the game.
blatantly
Okay.
lied.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is that? Is it?
I don't know.
I know his name. For some reason, I'm thinking it's Sean Murray, but I also think that might be.
Murphy.
I
don't
think
know.
it's Sean Murray. That doesn't matter.
I don't know,
Whatever.
but,
That's beside the point.
Like in No Man's Sky now, how many years later, is a cool game, right?
Oh,
They've
it's
added
super
lots of
cool.
stuff.
Super fun.
Super cool.
Should it have taken that long?
Should
Should
have.
it have been released when it was?
Yep.
With the quality that it is, like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I don't know. I just feel like I miss the old days.
I do.
I sound
Yeah.
old, but
I'm going back and just thinking. I brought up Oblivion earlier, but even though they had the horse armor, which was a huge meme,
sure.
they still had like
They had full-fledged
was-
story DLC.
Yeah.
yeah, like Knights of the Nine and the
Shivering Isles.
Shivering
That was fun, dude.
that
was
Shale
so-
Gorath, dude. That just absolutely incredible. One of my favorite lines I will never forget is when he was mad at you. He says that he's gonna rip out your intestines and jump rope with them for whatever reason. That just like I love it.
Got a madness.
For whatever reason, I just absolutely
Stick-
love love that line. But anyways, I thought those DLCs were great.
Sure, yeah,
And then
those
even
are great.
Skyrim, they had the whole vampire story with the Dawnguard expansion, which I thought was awesome. Then they had the Dragonborn DLC, which took you to
Solstheim.
Solstheim. Yeah, I forgot the name of the island at first, so thank you. It took you to
Is in
Solstheim.
Morrowind.
Yeah, I still haven't played Morrowind, but failure. There's a lot of games I haven't played.
We
Shut
know.
up. But anyways, those expansions I thought were great.
Sure.
They weren't super long. They were maybe $20 a piece, which I would say you got $20 worth of content out of easy. At least in my mind, especially since a lot of it carried over. Like the weapons and armor would carry over to the main game.
Yeah.
Still, because obviously you go wherever you want, you do anything. So the cool stuff that you get there, it works. And so I think it was worth the $20 each time there. The only one I really questioned with Skyrim was
Skyrim had some glaring issues, though.
well, no, I'm talking DLC wise.
Yeah.
The only one I had an issue with was making you spend $10, I think it was, to build your own house with the Hearthfire
yeah,
expansion.
Hearthfire. It was
And
fun, though.
It was fun the first 2 times, but
The third time? Yeah.
because there really wasn't any. There wasn't
A
any.
lot to it.
There was no customization to the house. You would make
a certain extent, yeah.
your base room, and then you had the big dining hall, and then your only option was like bedroom or armory. Do you want a library or
Alchemy.
alchemy
Yeah.
lab?
Or
You really didn't have much of an option there, so that's why.
Stuffed troll.
Yeah. Like you want to put a stuffed troll in your trophy room. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was worth it. I guess
For a
But-
first instance of like home building in the Elder Scrolls
Yeah.
franchise, it wasn't bad.
I
but-
feel like they kind of took that though too, and this is totally off the
Sure.
rails here, but I feel like they kind of took what they did with Hearthfire and put that in Fallout 4 with the base building.
Sure.
I feel like
Yeah.
they kind of took what they learned there.
Fallout 4
and-
was essentially Fallout 3, the exact same thing, not talking story,
Yeah.
with just the little tiny like things that fans have always wanted. Not having to go into an inventory place every single time to
Yeah.
grab items. You
Yeah.
can just look at it. Like there's that little stuff that I liked Fallout 4. Don't get me wrong, but it was a little lazy. It was just like
It was a
It
fun
is,
game
it
though.
is.
There was a few things in it that I really questioned their motive and like their.
Yeah.
I question a lot of Bethesda nowadays, sir.
I
Yeah.
do too. As much as I hate to admit it, I do as well.
I will say, kind of in defense of Fallout a little bit, it's kind of sad that it's this way, but the modded community for Fallout 4,
yeah.
if you dive into that, there is some amazing things that they've come up with.
Oh yeah, all
Like,
of the
It's like the Sin,
Fallout
like
titles
Sin
and,
City,
Yeah.
like they've
and,
literally done.
Elder Scrolls. They keep those games alive.
Yeah, they
The
do.
modding community does in
Yep.
PC. But,
See, now that's another problem though too. Is it's either a problem or it's a good thing, depending on what way you want to look at it.
sure.
Does Bethesda release games now that they know aren't fully finished, but
Absolutely.
also
Oh,
knowing
easily.
that the modded community is going to take their game and expand upon it?
Easily.
Absolutely.
So you think they're actually just being lazy with it? And like, okay, the
Sure.
modders are going
I
to do
mean,
what we want to do here.
Let's go
instead.
back to CDPR. They got roasted, like literally roasted for how like
Cyberpunk?
unfinished the glitches and all the mistakes
Yeah.
in Cyberpunk when it came out. Yet no one will talk about how terrible like Fallout 3 and Skyrim and Oblivion were with the glitches. No one will talk about that stuff because we love those games.
See, is it that they love the game or
Their creation engine is terrible.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's awful. But I think a lot of people with Elder Scrolls games specifically, or just Bethesda games in general, and I hate that this is the case because it gives them an out.
Sure.
They almost see it as the glitches are kind of a charm. Like it's like, oh, that's like
Maybe for the first game.
Yeah, like it's a Bethesda game because look at all the glitches. Like that's it's a cute little thing that they did. It's funny, But then CD Projekt Red goes from a game that, even though once again never played it, but I know it's finished and polished, like The Witcher 3, where it's almost flawless. Like there's a few glitches I've seen.
There was glitches.
There was, but it was
in The Witcher
nowhere
3.
near the level of Skyrim.
Sure.
Where
But
like you had giants that were able to launch you 50,000
That was
feet
also
to the moon.
the third game in too. If you played the Witchers before that, you will see
There were
how messed up some of
Well,
it
then
is.
Skyrim's the fifth game.
But
in,
it's
Yeah.
but CDPR also built that from the ground up
Yeah.
with their own stuff. I don't know the exact engine they use and everything like
Yeah.
that, but
I don't either.
especially like Cyberpunk, that's a brand new IP,
Yeah.
brand new, and you didn't think it was gonna struggle. Like, I don't know.
I think they thought it was going to struggle. I don't think they thought it was going to go as bad as it did.
I think I know they were rushed.
Yeah.
I know
Oh,
they're
yeah.
rushed
The
by higher ups. I'm pretty
investors
sure.
were
They
pushing them
delayed
hard.
it. What? How many? 5?
At least
four
4 or 5
times, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And they're like, okay, we're gonna literally get like a bomb threat on our building or something if we do this again. But I think they should have taken their time.
Yeah.
When games are delayed, I always say this. Weston says the same thing. If it's delayed, I'm okay with that. That just means it's
Yep.
gonna be better.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat.
You hope.
I really wanted this game to come out, whatever. But if you delay it, I trust you.
I would rather
I
have.
hope it's gonna be better than what it is right now.
Yeah, I'd rather have a finished game later than a
Sure.
broken game now. Every
Like,
time.
I'd be terrified if they hadn't pushed it as many times as they
Yeah.
did, what we would have gotten.
Yeah, I mean,
For
it was
Cyberpunk.
bad.
Well, they got the
begin with.
past gen thrown in
Yeah.
with like 6 months or whatever to finish that.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Oh, because we can make money there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
I wonder
have you
where that
seen-
came from. That's just
Have you seen how
baffles me
bad the ray
sometimes.
tracing performance is on PC? Have you looked into those videos?
I haven't looked into the PC.
Okay,
thing.
because with the PC specifically, like at this point, ray tracing's been out since 2018 with the 20
Sure.
series cards. So it's been almost 3 years, I guess. It's been 2.5 technically since we're at the beginning of this year. But anyways, I think it was September, October 2018. But that's beside the point. But anyways, it's this technology they've been pushing. Like, oh yeah, this is gonna get better and better and better.
Sure.
This game just tanked. Like it was so bad. Every aspect of its performance was ray tracing. Was just horrible. It's like this technology's been around for 3 years. Like, how are you still not able?
Not getting it.
It's like, so how lazy was the development in so many different ways? Like, what parts were you pushing? And I get that it's a new thing, so not many people have the technology in their computer.
Sure.
Not many people have RTX cards to actually run it. But it almost makes you wonder, like, even though this technology's there and you know it's the future, why aren't you investing into it now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, what were they putting the money into? Because it clearly wasn't bug fixes,
Yeah.
Like, clearly we weren't on the bug fix category.
No.
They were...
Well,
They were putting their
I
money
looked at an
somewhere. Now, where
interview
was
and
it?
they said they're the people testing, like, due to COVID, could not go to they were at home, so they couldn't
Yeah.
go and test the games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an excuse. I don't know how much that caters into anything, but it depends on how many people you hire to do how much work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that the game creation industry is a grind now. Like,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not fun.
Yeah. And actually, here in a few
But-
weeks, maybe, you know Zach.
Yeah.
He's going to be in town,
Mhm.
and he'd be kind of an interesting person because he studied game development. Maybe
Sure.
we can have this conversation when he's in town. We can have him on the show, and we can have more of a because I've talked to him on stream a few times about it, and this guy is like an actual encyclopedia for game development and just game history. So that would actually be a conversation I'd love to have with him.
It's
So
fun stuff. I just I just want people to care about what they're making again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I agree with you. I don't think they do. They see dollar signs and not, they don't see, hey, we can make this many people happy. They say, hey,
Sure.
we can put this much money in our bank account, and
I guarantee those people are not people of the gaming culture.
Oh, no.
They're not
Okay,
part
so
of the culture.
Isn't that anything anymore?
oh, it is,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yes,
that's the
but-
problem we're running into is a lot of
I
people.
mean,
are
that's
getting
how you
more and more
expand,
selfish.
Yeah.
get investors.
Yep.
But
Before we move on quick, did you, Dan specifically, did you see what happened, actually anybody, with Fall Guys earlier this week?
I have not.
They put out an update on Steam and leaked the game code. So you know how Fall Guys has been having an issue with hackers and all that stuff? It's going to get worse
cheaters.
because...
Take it way worse.
Well, I don't play the game anyway because I hate that game.
Their whole thing got
I remember.
leaked.
It was a fun game when
I
it
hate
came
that
out,
game
man.
so
I
much.
loved it.
Dan never liked it.
It's just pure
It
frustration.
is. I don't remember what it was, but they updated everything on Steam, and they left all of the files in it, and the files even said something about "don't ship this." It was like the name of the files.
We were talking about this the other night. I don't remember the name of the file. It was like a CSS file or something along those lines.
But enough that
Interesting.
anybody who is a part of that community, the hacking community,
Sure.
it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, they got
Unless
that
they
file now,
completely-
and they have everything.
They have
so they're going to
everything.
have to rebuild that almost from the ground up with a different...
Better get started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They got a lot of work to do, but I don't know. It's going to get really interesting for sure. So,
Yeah.
anything else you want to add on to that?
I think I've taken enough of your time.
That's
Okay.
it.
It was fun.